What in the World Wednesday. Here's a good tech tip. Don't get spray foam on your hands because you'll end up like this. I think it's Knuckle Buster soap is what Adrian's using, and then some stuff I got for some giveaway I bought like a few years ago. But basically, the spray foam's not coming off his hands. Today's episode is brought to you by Holley and their horrible packing service. So I just received my Holley low ram for the Gen 2 small block. The lower kind of shipped okay, like literally what, 1/4 inch foam around the whole base. Kind of punctured a little bit out of the box, but yeah, the shipping on Holley, horrible. And then the upper literally is like this, like no BS. This is literally how it's shipped, which is freaking horrible for $1,000 intake. And this is what they shipped, or how they ship it. Like, I'm assuming it was sitting flat like this, which even then it don't even really fit the box, and the flange is up against the cardboard, and there's literally no packaging. Like, this is super disappointing for Holley being a $1 billion company and publicly traded. Like, super disappointing. But the lid's here, made it safe. I'm gonna pull it out of the packaging in a minute and check everything. The lower so far looks good. It did come in, so I will say these two boxes did come in this box that had this little bit of foam in there. So, like, yeah, I'm really kind of disappointed. This is that foam Adrian's using right here. It's Knuckle Buster, Knuckle Scrubber. So we'll see how it works. He's over here, he's got to try to get ready for family photos. So if you look at his hands, like, that stuff is not coming off, man. But it got better. That's not reassuring. But yeah, the box, the two boxes literally had this two pieces of foam in here, and came in this box. Here's part number 300-620 BK. So it's a low ram for a cathedral port with a 103 or 105 millimeter opening. So now I have the ultra low ram on the El Camino. Adrian's hands are black as the intake. So I got the ultra low ram. Hey, Sam's here. Got the ultra low ram on the El Camino, which is the front facing ultra low. So I might have to swap to this intake possibly, depending on what happens. And then I have the low ram. Then Adrian's probably gonna do the high ram. So but yeah, packaging very disappointing. So let me put this thing together, do a quick little video, small video thing on the engine. So one second. Continuation of yesterday's video. It is now Thanksgiving. Adrian's over here just giving thanks of all the mess that he's created on the floor when he did his oil change. So then I gotta clean this up from doing the motor. But intakes together, looks pretty cool. I did have to order the injector hat adapters because this is the Bosch 210 injectors. I think it's 38 millimeters O-ring to O-ring. And I need to get them to either I think it's the LS2 height, or I think it's LS2/truck height, or the LS1 height. So I bought the adapters, I think, for the LS1 height. They'll be here tomorrow. So then I can put the fuel rails on, kind of get basically the intake buttoned up. The bracket will show up tomorrow. I need to order another cable for Motion, because I actually ordered the Ford cable, which obviously I don't have a Ford throttle body anymore. And then I ordered a War Performance throttle body, which, looking back at it, I should have ordered the Motion Raceworks because it's on Black Friday sale and basically the same price as the War throttle body, but it is what it is. So that'll be here soon. Picking up the car next weekend from Dennis at Ellsworth Performance. So he should be wrapping up the cage probably, I think, this weekend, if not early this coming week. And then it's full bore to get this thing running. And then, yeah, we got the spacers figured out, so I need to order those AN fittings. I got the water pump. And then I got to check in with Huron Speed for the turbo kit. I was hoping it was going to ship this coming week, so they said it was pretty much getting wrapped up, getting made, because they're made to order, and then obviously they have all their Black Friday sales going on. And then, yeah, once all that stuff comes in, at least when the car comes back, we gotta drop the motor in it, drop the trans, figure out the drive shaft, get that going, and then start wiring it, which shouldn't be too much because I have the HCR Innovations harness. Obviously I gotta fix a few things in the factory harness just to power that. So I need like the trigger wire, and then run the fuel pump wiring. Or actually, I think the fuel pump wiring is still there. I just got to do the trigger wire for the fuel pump, and then do a few other things, and then start figuring out what sensors I need, which actually I need to run a trans pan temperature for the transmission pan. Actually, I did finish up, I think, the last video, or a little short. I added the vent to the ATI performance catch can. But I need to add a temp sensor to the pan for the transmission, so I could keep track of the whatchamacallit, trans temp. I need to add a charge pressure out of the, I think, upper, I forgot which one it was, the upper, the lower. I gotta add that. So I gotta add quite a few sensors. Because I'm running the HP, I only have 4 inputs and 4 outputs, which I'm pretty much using all of them. And then I'm gonna use, since I have the Holley Pro Dash, I'll be using some of the inputs on the Pro Dash and then use the CAN bus to data log those, which are gonna be pretty much the fuel level I have through the Pro Dash, the GPS speeds through the Pro Dash. I'll probably run the trans temp and some other stuff. Actually, I think I've, because I'm gonna be running CO2 on this, I'm gonna probably run the CO2 bottle pressure off the Pro Dash as well. Other cool thing that came in, my cup holders. These are the Billet cup holders for the operator shifter from Motion. So it's their own cup holders, just because since this shifter is going to sit over the cup holders that are in the factory Fox body console, I have to run aftermarket cup holders. So what else did I get from them? The timing pointer. So this is going to go on. It's going to be pretty much these 2 bolts right here, and then stick out right there. So I'll put this on. Then we pull the balancer on. The turbo feed fitting, a helmet, hook, which will actually be for a steering wheel. And I think that's pretty much it. A bunch of koozies that I've been collecting. Yeah. Yeah, this extra straps. Then, what was the other thing I needed? I need to do the LSA fitting for Motion. I have it on the El Camino intake. Basically, it's because it's a smooth bore port, the back of the low ram, and then there's a bolt that holds it down. So I got to order that as well, which I'll be doing a pretty decent sized order today because it's Black Friday, or well, tomorrow for Black Friday. I got a bunch of parts I got to order from Motion, and then start ordering some of the water pump fittings and all the other fittings like I need for the fuel pressure regulator, because I need to go from a -12 ORB to a -8 ORB, or no, -12 ORB to a -8 AN, which Motion sells. So I'll be doing that for the regulator. and then doing the what was it, for the fuel rails, a -8 ORB to a -8 AN for the rails. And then I gotta upsize the fuel filter, because this is a post filter for Motion that it's for their FluidWorks brand. I need to change these out to -10. And then I have the E85 content sensor. I need to change, actually that's gonna stay on the return line, so I'm gonna run a -10 feed to a Y, two -8s to the fuel rails. Then out of the fuel rails, it's gonna go to a -8 to the regulator, and then it'll go to a -8 return. So I'll be feeding it with a 10, splitting them. So it'll feed a 10 to the Y, split to 2/8 to feed each rail, then out of each rail to the regulator, which I'm going to try to mount the regulator right here. I think it's this bolt and this bolt hole. The bracket's supposed to be here tomorrow. So I'll be doing that. And then, so yeah, it'll be a 10 to 2/8, out of 2/8 from the rails into the regulator, then out of the regulator, it'll turn into another 8, and then I'll be doing an 8 in and out of the E85 content sensor on the firewall, and then back to the tank. I'm debating on pulling out the 2 pumps that are in the gas tank, which is over here. I'm running the 2, I forgot what the part number is. It's like a 274, which is like a 470 pump. This is the Division X dual pump hat. So this right now is set up for an 8 feed and 6 return. So I'll be changing that to a 10 feed, 8 return, which I think, yeah, I gotta change those fittings. I gotta order those fittings as well. And I gotta change the vent because I keep having the overflowing issue. So I gotta figure that out. Probably do like a rollover vent. So actually I gotta measure this fitting, what size that is in that bushing or that grommet, so I can figure out the right size rollover vent, so I can hopefully stop my overflowing issues. But I was debating on changing these pumps out because they're 470 liter per hour pumps, and changing them to the HellCat I think it's 525 pump, or just leave these pumps in here, because I think this gives me, with these 2 pumps, I'm like 4.5 gallons per minute or something like that. I think is what I get. And then the HellCats, so like twin HellCats are 1,050 liter per hour, which I think is like 5 gallons. I think 5 gallons a minute, I think is what it is. Because I think it's like for every, I forgot what it was. Every 250 liter per hour is like 1 gallon a minute, I think is what the math is. So like these 2 pumps, they're 470 something. So it's like, I think it's like 940 liter per hour is what I make. So it's like 4 point something gallons a minute. So I'll probably just leave these in here, see how it runs, and then do the HellCat pumps as backup spares, and I'll put in the parts box. Other than that, basically today's a cleanup day. Clean up all the oil stains, clean up the side yard, just to get ready for the car to come back, because it's going to be full bore and try to get this thing done by New Year's, and all these parts will go away. Got the radiator for sale. Oh, I actually need to put it for sale up today. It's a LMR Fox body radiator. It's the LMR kit with the overflow, the contour fans, and then the upper radiator bracket. So this is up for sale. Then I got the whole interior is up for sale. Front seats, rear seats, the carpet is all for sale. So I need to get that out of here, make some space, because I'm going to be running the 2 Kirkies. And then, yeah, the dash is going to go back in. New carpet, so once the car comes back, I need to leave this out in the sun just so it can relax. The trans cooler I'm going to run, which actually I had this from the coupe, so I got to figure out where to mount this. And then probably just run a temperature switch, just to basically close at, like, say 180 degrees or something like that to turn the fan on. This one, my trans cooler. That's it. Yeah, pretty much kind of running out of things to do until the car comes. And then once the car comes and it's full bore, get this thing done. There's the engine diaper. There's the HP, which I have that bracket somewhere. Yeah, I think it's actually in this box. Got that. I got the CO2 bottle mount. The dashes right there. But yeah, once the car comes back, we're definitely gonna be jamming on this thing and see if we can get it done by New Year's. For sure, we'd like to get it done by end of January. That's the original goal, because I believe the first test and tune for Mendota is in February. So definitely gonna try to make it for that, and then just start driving it as much as possible, because I think we're like 300, or actually I think we're under 300 days now to Redwood. Trying to convince a few other people to go, to see, because I think they'd have a blast with it. But we'll see how their builds pan out. But yeah, we'll get cleaning here, and I guess I'll try to take some. I'll probably do a short tomorrow or something. When I get the rails on, or I might just continue this video. We'll see. So we get to it. Looks cool with all the black. All right, so I'm gonna finish up on this little video. Kind of went on a little side quest, messing with El Camino. Actually, things turned out good. If you watched from the previous video, it was the crank sensor, basically. So replaced the crank sensor, and then got it started. Aside from, like, I changed the coil pack harness, and then it was the cam sensor wiring right here, because I did I guess it's the Gen 4 LS2 style timing cover. So it basically moves the crank sensor from the back, which this is a Gen 4 motor, but pretty much this hole right here, or basically that hole, is the Gen 3 cam sensor. And then I moved it. So when I did the cam swap, there's a kit from, I think Michigan Motorsports is who I bought it from. It basically moves the cam sensor up to the front, so it gives you a new 1X cam gear, and then you basically use the 4X cam sensor, because it's pretty much usable between I guess 1X and 4X cams. And then you basically delete the back sensor. So I flipped that wiring because there was something that I read that you might have to swap the ANC terminals, which is the outside pins. Did that a long time ago. Didn't think much of it, and that was the final part that I needed to fix on the car. So El Camino's up and running, as you can see in the previous video. This is just finishing up on the Gen 2 small block. So with this, the belt came in. It's a 60.9 inch belt. So I have this belt and I have a spare. Obviously with the drag and drive stuff, I'm trying to slowly build up my spare parts things. These are the Bosch 210 injectors. I don't have any spares, but at the same time, I don't know. I might maybe buy like 2 spares just in case. Can never have enough injectors, enough spare parts, because you just never know, especially drag and drive. If you follow it enough, you see how much crap people carry. Obviously, we're in the little 4x6 Wells Cargo trailer. So I'm somewhat limited, but I definitely have more space now than I did last year or this year. because I had a trailer that was like maybe a quarter of that size, and then just stack stuff all over it, and then in the car. So this year, preferably don't want to really have anything in the car aside from like maybe like luggage or like my backpack and like a little snack box and lunch box or something like that. So pretty much gonna do that. But yeah, pretty much finishing up. So I got the lid on for the this is the Holley low ram. I did get the injector spacers. These are from ICT Billet, I believe is where I got them from. So this basically changes the LS3 height, Siemens Deca's 210s into the LS1 height. So it's a little bit taller spacer. So these O-rings are 38 millimeters center to center. And then I basically used the ICT Billet chart to figure out what injector hat I needed to run the LS1s, or basically to run either the short brackets or the tall brackets. This one, I did the tall brackets, so it moves it to an LS1 height injector. The El Camino, I think they're truck height injectors, and then I have another similar style injector hat adapter to get it to where I can use I think it's to get it to it's either LS3 injector or LS2 injector. I forget which one I bought, but they're like 37-pound or 36-pound flex fuel injectors. And then it uses a shorter injector hat, and then it has the short injector mounts, or the injector or fuel rail mounts. So this is the other shorter mount, so you can see the height difference, which actually I think I might have used the taller ones. But this is like the short, which even these are still too short, I believe, for the these injectors, but you can kind of compare the difference. So that's in. Got all the O-rings lubed up. Actually used, was it Super Lube? O-ring lube. So used that to lube all the O-rings up. Got them all pushed in. Then my fuel pressure regulator mount came in from Billet, ICT Billet. So it worked out perfect with my the fuel regulator. So I actually had this a long time ago from technically it was, I guess, the Malibu build. I was kind of starting to put together a crank driven fuel pump setup. So I actually have a Magna Fuel, I think it's a 10 gallon per minute pump I have sitting in storage still, and then I had this regulator. It's like their high flow regulator. This is a dash 12 inlet and outlet, so I got the dash 12 to dash 8 fittings coming from Motion, because I'm going to feed the rails dash 8 into the regulator, and then it'll be 8 return. So it's going to be a 10 feed that's going to come up from the pump, Y off into 2/8 into the rails, come out of the rails into 2/8 on the regulator, and then an 8 for return. So it'll be a 10 feed, 8 return. So when I get those fittings, will be here. I need to run, I think it's like, yeah, temp sensors there. I might put a coolant pressure sensor here. That'll basically give me a heads up if I'm about to push a head gasket out once you start pressurizing the cooling system. So I got to do that. I did get the timing pointer right here. Still got to install that. Kind of went on my little side quest, so didn't get it installed. I'll probably do it sometime this week. What else? And then actually, once that's in, I can pull the balancer on, and then I can start setting the valves or the rockers. I ordered a whatchamacallit, throttle body from Poor Performance. Can't speak. That'll be here. I ordered the motion cable. Actually have the motion cable and pretty much very similar setup to what the El Camino has. That's just the ultra low ram. But other than that, yeah, belts on so you can kind of have an idea how it's going to look. So, yeah, we're really getting there. Picking up the car this Saturday. And then actually Ken Gentry, I think Gentry is actually coming to the Bay Area next week. So I might just leave the car on the trailer and then catch him when he's down here so I can get the cage started while he's here before I start putting everything in. Other than that, on my little thread chaser for the spark plugs, or spark plug holes. And then actually I have a few holes. I think, yeah, that one. I gotta get that bolt out. I think that was it. I think there's like one on the other side too. Gotta get that out. And then prime this thing of oil, which I have a little canister. I believe it's right there. I know that's not it. I have a little canister around here somewhere. I think it's right there. Basically, I fill it full of oil, pull this plug out, thread it in there, and then I pressurize a canister, and then crank the motor, or basically spin the motor by hand, and that basically gets the fluids moving in the motor. And basically, I think I pressurize it to like 20 psi. Basically confirm I'm getting oil up through all the push rods, and oil's kind of getting everywhere. So when I do start it for the first time, it's not dry. So I do that. Doing it for this motor, did it for for the El Camino motor, because I did take that one apart, kind of similar to this. So it's just a kind of little precaution. Need to put the fitting here. That'll be the oil pressure or oil feed for the turbo. That's pretty much it. Yeah, once the car gets here, we'll be kind of going full bore at this thing. Like probably the next week. It really depends on what I do, obviously, because I need to get the chassis cert, so I don't want to offload it off the trailer, and then wait for Ken. So depending on what day he's going to be coming down in Fremont, I'll offload the car or not, because worst case, I could have him here, and just put the car here, because this is actually where I had the coupe. The coupe, when he tried to cert that chassis or cert that cage and it failed, there was a couple bars that needed some gussets. So after that, I kind of just put that car in storage, and then that was it. So other than that, I got to change these fittings out. Kind of really just waiting on the car at this point. I said a few odds and ends on the El Camino I got to do. It's pretty much just the inputs and outputs. Fix the wiring for the lighting, so for like headlights, taillights, make sure my brake lights still work. And then change up the turn signal switch to an actual somewhat to a regular turn signal. I just have like a little 3-position toggle switch right now. So other than that, we're doing good. I really don't know what I'm going to do with 2 actual running cars. So we'll see. But yeah, Gen 2 small blocks almost ready to go into its new home. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Help us keep this going. Hopefully Adrian gets his life together soon. We can do a little supercharger for his truck. Because once the Mustang's done, I'm probably going to start working on the El Camino a little bit. I want to see if I can find a like a Vortec or Pro Charger for that car. Just do a little bit of boost. Don't want to get too crazy, and see what that is. Be a little bit of a fun car to kind of poke around in, and then maybe make that a drag and drive car. So slowly all these parts will be disappearing. Yeah, cause pretty much that bin is all parts, those are Adrian's parts, more parts, electrical box. Start throwing away or giving away these parts so I can get more room, and just miscellaneous parts. I've been kind of digging them all my boxes so I can get this car done. But yeah, stay tuned for some more. I got my Cobra grill. It's definitely a 10-foot grill. But there's that. Trans cooler. So stay tuned. Keep it going.